Hey everyone, this is Sarah with Craft Test Dummies. I am here at the Ranger booth with Mr. Tim Holtz, and he is going to show us his brand new distress paints that we are all so excited for.
So exciting, so exciting. All right, so I'm excited to introduce distress paint. So what distress paint is, it is a water-based acrylic paint. It comes in 24 of the distress colors. It's in a dabber, but it's very unique because the paint itself has a very fluid viscosity. There's a mixing ball in there, so we want to shake it up when we use it. And we can do a few things. Let me just show you kind of the properties of it to begin with. If I go and take some of this paint, I'll just take it just on a surface. Now this paint's going to work on multi-surface. It works on cardstock, paper, fabric, metal, wood, plastic, and glass. You can see that when you put it on, it's very, very fluid. If I wanted to blend it, I can simply go in with my finger and blend that out. So it almost blends out almost like a chalk, even though it is a paint. Or if you didn't want to get it on your fingers, you could certainly go in with your blending tool and just use the foam to blend that. If you do get it on your hands, it will wipe off just with water. So you can use a baby wipe or anything like that. If I put this paint onto a surface as well, and while it is wet, I can go in and add water to it, it's going to react with water. So you can see how that color travels out the same way distress does. But it's cool because it has a wonderful opacity to it. So here's how we can kind of mix these together. I'm just going to go in on my craft sheet. I'm going to take some of these paints, I'll put some on the craft sheet, and you can see really how liquid that is. I'm pressing down, just giving a little bit of pressure. Each time you use it, you do want to give it a quick shake, because after all, it is paint. Go and add some of that. Let's maybe add a little bit of that. There we go. Take a little Mode Lawn. So, when I'm working with this, I'm just going to go in, spray water directly onto that, and I'm going to start going right through that. And you can see how great. I know, it's so cool, huh? Look at how those paints work.
Rainbow
so even
bright.
on a background, really, really cool. And if I wanted to add some more of that bright color, I could go back, I could add some more paint down there, I could give it a mist of water, and I could swipe right through that too. So you can always introduce color. Now, while this is wet, this is what's going to give you the playtime. I'm going to start drying this with a heat tool, and if I wanted it to react more, I could spritz this with water. And you can see, as soon as that water hits that paint, it does the dance. It is reacting. It does all sorts of cool things. You could let this air dry. You don't need to heat set it, but I definitely want to get some of those colors stable, so I'm going to put some of that heat right on there. Now I'm one that when I do backgrounds, I always like to have a cloth, paper towel, anything in my hand, because I want to blot off some of that excess. Because sometimes I don't want really heavy concentrations of color in an area.
Matches my nails.
It does match your nails. See, we did this just for you, Sarah. Just for you. All right, so I'm going to blot off some of the extra. I would go in with another tag or anything and swipe that through, but because we're filming a video, we're just going to clean that up. All right, so I'm just going to finish drying it up. I want to make sure this is completely dry. And you can see that great opacity, but look at that great effect just from using water. Now here's the best part. If you like to do art journals or mixed media, or you want to layer stuff on canvas or anything like that, once this is dry, it has no hand to it at all. In other words, it doesn't have that texture like regular acrylic paint. But once it is dry, if I try to go back and re-wet it, it doesn't re-wet the colors. They're stable. So that's going to allow me to go over it with an ink pad, I can color with markers, I can put distress stain over the top, I can stamp and not worry about re-wetting that background at all. So it does allow you to introduce other distress products. Let me get some of that water off just to show you. Maybe I want to throw in a little bit more. We were talking about that picked raspberry, such a great color. So if I really wanted to go in and add more of that, just using my blending tool like we're used to using, this is just taking my distress ink pad, I can go in and introduce some of that color. But I can still go back and now spray water over the ink just to break through that layer of ink. So I'm going to dry this too. So everything that we've been doing with distress, this is giving us a whole different medium, because now these are going to be paints. So they're going to stay opaque or semi-opaque. And now that I kind of went through that, you can see those little spots of blue coming through where that water was. It's really cool. So I can use these paints on stamps. I can stamp with it with amazing detail because they're so fluid. I can use them to alter my metal embellishments, plastic, anything like that. It's super cool. Yeah, it's really fun. So let me grab a metal embellishment real quick just to show you. Really simple to alter. Whether you wanted to do a coin or a key or anything like that, I can just go in with some paint. Just going to give it a quick shake. And let's just put some colors down there. So I'll put a little bit of green. Maybe I want to throw a little bit of blue. And I don't have to worry about contaminating these because these will just wipe right off.
Oh, nice.
This is a bottle that only dispenses paint, doesn't pull paint back in.
Good to know.
Slide this off. So because it's so fluid, it's going to allow me just to go in and start mixing this with my fingers, just to create that kind of patina look. I mean, you can see how wet that paint stays. Gives you quite a bit of open time or play time. just going to wipe this off. I could let this air dry, or I'm going to zap it. Now if you zap it, you want to make sure that you be careful, the metal's going to be just a little warm when you go to pick it up. And then I'm just going to start rubbing some of that paint away, just on the outside while it's wet. Oh, cool. But that inside's going to remain totally permanent. Yeah, pretty great. Yeah, here's another background. We'll slide that in. Just, you can see, super cool. So whether I'm stamping with it, blending with it, just doing regular paint, I mean, the distress paint's a whole new way to distress.
Well, thank you so much, Tim. We really appreciate you showing all of us your tips and techniques. We'll see you around the rest of the show.
Great.
Bye.
See ya.